The Charity Gaming Guild presents the Nat Pun Podcast.
Welcome one and all to this week's Downtime, where we look back on last week's story and we say, did that really happen? And if so, why? So I'm joined, as always, by the mighty Ash.
The mighty Ash. Yes. Hello.
Yes, you don't look like a tree, I must admit. The beautiful Bertie.
Bees.
Bees?
Beautiful Bertie, both start with B.
Okay. Right. And, the jaunty John, is that going to work?
I've never been described as jaunty before, I'll take it.
You have that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
it's better than jaundiced.
So, we all started back at Mistfall, and the villagers were all sort of setting up for their big celebration. I would like to point out at this, I put this caveat out there that the story arc, as you will come to know, or if you listen, you would already know, is not representative of the typical person that runs a fairground type of attraction. We do not consider them all to be thieving bandits that have rigged the game in no way, shape or form. Anyway, so guys, I guess one of the first questions I'd like to ask, because I know we're all different types of players. Do you actually prepare? I know as a DM you've got to prepare. What you're supposed to prepare. But as a player, do you ever prepare before a game? Other than your actual character, do you actually think about things you want to achieve, you want to do?
No.
Also probably a no, if I'm honest.
I don't think you can, because if you don't know what's going to happen, you'd be like, this episode I'm going swimming. It's not. I mean, you could try and force it, but...
Well, that was probably the shortest segment that I will present.
I think in the long run, you might have things like, oh, my character has this goal that at some point they would hope to achieve, but it's not like session by session.
Okay. I mean, I probably agree with that approach. I mean, I do have... There are aspects of my character's personality and background that I would like to come out during the storytelling. So I am constantly looking for opportunities to bring that to the fore in the story, but so far you buggers haven't given me a chance.
So the biggest things for me before coming is to remind myself of my character sheet, because we're not playing like every week. I make sure I go and have a read. I try and read my 6 bullet points from the session before. Six.
A whole 6?
A whole 6.
Wow.
2 of which were wrong. And it's just so I don't rock up like a complete idiot and not have any idea what's going on.
I don't think you'd necessarily look at a complete idiot. I think maybe if you were a DM and you were just checking everyone's stats before the game and you happen to have got every single one of them wrong, that might make you look out to be a bit
every
of an
single.
I did.
He got mine right.
I got Adonis's right.
Okay, alright, 2 out of 3 completely wrong on all counts. Okay, I mean, we know the story. We all... Don't laugh yet. I haven't told a joke.
That's a record for
In fact,
you.
I didn't tell a joke. I was the only person not to get a nat 1, which is absolutely mind-boggling for me. I always roll poorly. So I'm not quite sure what happened there.
Next time you're only going to roll 1s. You'll do nothing but puns.
Even if I don't, I'm going to lie and say I did. Just so I can do the jokes. Okay, so we were all in Mistfall, and it all started with, well, G was drinking. No surprise there. But Vesper and Adonis, you went out and you went to explore the setup of the games and to play the games. And I know that Ash, you would have actually sort of spent time creating these little sideshows, and you had an idea of how they were going to work. I mean, was it disappointing for you that the one that was probably historically the biggest cheat, and that's the old P under cup, and we didn't really touch that?
Not really. I didn't think you'd manage all of the games, but I needed to make sure I had enough in my back pocket to fill the time up nicely give you an opportunity to have that kind of less serious interaction with each other. Actually, it was quite nice to see how Vesper reacts to finding out that the games are rigged. Yeah, it was fine.
It was strange to actually see how Vesper was disappointed if they weren't rigged.
Now that I didn't foresee. I have to admit, it's like you're a vigilante out for justice. But
Yeah. I think part of it was, it almost made it more interesting, because when you started off in those games, she's like, oh, okay, these are for kids. But when she realised there was a different element to it, she's like, oh, it's almost more exciting that there's something naughty going on. So have you got something naughty going on? No. Oh, okay. Well, bye then.
So we did explore 4 of the games. What was the 5th one? Remind me.
Hang on a minute, let me get my notes.
There were...
You got notes?
You've got a nose? There was pin the tail on the goat.
Oh, that's the one we didn't do. Yeah.
There was
Pin
the
the tail
hammer
on the
full,
goat.
the cup and ball, cup and bean,
Yeah.
cup and ball, the bow, and the ring toss.
Yes, it was the pin the tail that we didn't actually get to explore.
Yeah.
So how
Yeah.
was that going to work?
So I will read you part of my notes in case I ever use it again in the future. The player is blindfolded and spun around 3 times. The player rolls a perception check to get their bearings. Then they roll a d6. If the perception check was higher than the d6 result must be up or higher. If the perception check was less than up or lower, the d6 result must be or higher to get the... I just said a load of words. I don't know if that made any sense.
No.
Basically, you make a perception check, and then, depending on the result of your perception check, it will affect the likelihood of you being able to put the tail in the right place on the goat.
Was it rigged?
Ironically, it's the only one that wasn't. Every other game has a rigged element apart from that one.
I was going to say that would be probably the most difficult one to rig, because it's a difficult enough challenge anyway. Why make it more hard?
Well, you could have picked the target up and then just walked around with it, so as the player was turning to pin the towel, you could have moved the target.
I would have hoped one of the other players would maybe have said something though.
You've
They're
met
moving
G.
the target.
Oh, you have met G, haven't
Yeah,
you?
that's true.
He wouldn't have said
He'd be the one moving the target.
Probably.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Would you have done it fairly, or would you have tried to cheat yourself to... In your mind, if you were thinking, and I'm looking at you, Bertie, I know they can't see me looking at you, but in your mind, if you're thinking everyone here is every game is rigged and they're all out to get me, so I'm going to try and out-rig the rigger, would you have tried to cheat?
No, she wouldn't have tried to cheat. It was a case of trying to make it fair. So like the cup one, as soon as she thought that it was a legit game, she was like, oh, okay, other people can play this, but I want to find the sneaky bits. I'm not going to try and trick people because I'm a good person.
You're good, are you?
Yeah.
Oh, John, what about you? Would you have cheated on that one?
No, I think for Adonis, he knows they're all rigged anyway. He's been around long enough to know, like, he lived in a magic school, he knows people trick and cheat, and he knows how fairground games work, but for him, he just enjoying having fun. And then when he saw how happy Vesper was getting about exposing everybody, that was fun for him too, and just goes along and says, this is what people are enjoying, let's do it.
So if the fairground was fun, you could almost say that was a fairground attraction. It's got to be...
We don't have the money for that.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's true. Yeah, that's all right. I sung it off key, so it doesn't count. So we did that, and I know that Bertie, your old Vesper kept pestering old Seb, the mayor. Did you pick up anything in your interaction? Do you think there was more going on than he was letting on?
I think the first time it very much felt like he was just annoyed. It's like, please stop. But then the second time she started to pick up on it, but because it wasn't played into too much, she was like, okay, I'm not going to say I've noticed anything because I don't feel like it's an appropriate... That felt a bit metagamey to be like, I think something's going on here. So it was more when you gave me that opportunity to be like, just have a check and see. So it gave us a bit more time for the funny stuff before getting into the serious bit. I honestly thought that we were just going to get attacked fully. I didn't think the games were going to go on for very long at all. I thought it was just going to be like, and you are overrun by orcs. So the fact that we had so long playing the games, I was like, oh, maybe nothing is going on.
Yeah, I was a bit surprised it went on for as long as it did, if I'm honest. I was waiting for, and the orcs arrive or whatever to happen as well.
I was quite happy it went on that long because I was in the tavern drinking myself silly, and the longer I was in there, the more fun I was having. So that's great. Now, Ash, I've got to admit, I don't know whether I'm having a bit of a senior moment here.
Probably.
I am right. The dwarven runes carved in the door, they did say something like, Lamberry knows.
That's exactly what they said, yeah.
Right. So I suddenly sort of saying that to you, and the way you responded made me think, oh, did I get it right? Have I cocked up here?
No, you
making
got
things up. Right.
You got it right, but you confronted Lamberry about it, didn't you?
Mm.
How was nose spelt? Was it K-N-O-W or N-O-S-E?
You can't tell it's in runes. It could have been nose, as in I'm touching my nose right now, but you can't see.
So what you're saying then is that next time I've got to rip his nose off to check.
Yeah, it's not real, it's a fake nose. It's where all the secrets are kept.
Lamberry's secret nose.
Yeah.
It's the campaign name.
That's why all these places keep disappearing. He just sneezes and they just get blown off the face of the earth.
He's a massive drug addict. He snorts them up.
It's in a line, it's in a line.
Done a line of Moonhelm.
Do we have a campaign name? I'm not sure I've seen one.
Well, on my notebook, it says Nat Pun.
Okay.
Is there a campaign name in mind?
No. Campaign 1? I don't know.
Maybe our listeners would like to submit suggestions for the campaign name, and I will start with, did that shit really happen? Okay, I mean, obviously your characters were very invested in playing the games. Mine, not so much. Why do you feel the urge to bring me in, get me involved in it? Why didn't you let my character just sit there and drink?
Because the
himself into
DM told us to. There was a quite literal element of let me get like an insight check. Okay. Ooh, you think G might enjoy this? So it felt a bit like, bring him in. Okay, doing what you tell us, Mr. DM.
I did hint quite heavily, didn't I?
Yeah.
Even if you thought he might enjoy it, doesn't mean to say you would want to encourage him to enjoy it.
I mean, you could have been doing any kind of shifty business that we could have become involved in, so...
Oh, I was.
Yeah.
Listen out in the next episode.
Dun dun dun.
I've got to make something up now, haven't
Yep. I don't know what you're talking about.
No,
so.
I've got no idea. I just said that for effect. That's going to backfire.
Yep.
Big time. Okay. So, we managed to pretty much ruin the day's festivities by getting 3 of the 5 games closed down, which is fortunate to a degree that the expected visitors didn't turn up. So was that a surprise to you guys?
It was a surprise to me. I didn't think that you would go, or I say you, I didn't think Vesper would go quite so far as to actually like out them to the point where they just don't want to be there anymore.
But that's the thing, is she didn't expect them to leave.
No.
She was more just, her hope was, right, if you're rigging it, just remove whatever it is that you're doing to rig it, and then people will still come and play, because people would still come over, pay the stupid $1 million gold to get involved. But it just makes it more fair, because if you've ever been to a fun fair and you've played a game, you're like, I don't think I can win this. You're automatically like, oh.
Again, we'd like to point out that is not the typical view of all people running fairground attractions.
No, but for the majority of them, you feel like, oh, I actually have a chance to win here. So you would potentially put in more money. As soon as you think, I don't have a chance of winning, you're less likely to put in more money. I was just doing it for them. They want money for their families.
I think it was set, or it was written to be like an extreme. So when you go to a fun fair or a carnival in real life, those games aren't rigged, but they're made more difficult.
Yeah.
So your perception is skewed, or the tin cans are weighted, or things like that happen. So the rigging of the games in that was very much. But you're right, it was impossible. Like you couldn't win. So it's an extreme rigging of the game. But to them, that's probably part and parcel, and I think to them people accept those games are rigged and they're just for fun. Which might be why they reacted how they reacted.
Got it wrong again.
It's funny though, because that is Vesper's take on the situation, which is kind of overread it, which is exactly what happened in the first episode when you weren't sure how to address people in this memorial thing. So actually it's building Vesper's character really nicely.
Yeah, she's like me in terms of she is very literal. So when someone says something, she's like, okay, that's what you mean. And then like, no, that was a joke. Oh, you're going to have to signpost those things for me. Big old banners.
I mean, in the real world, I've won many a goldfish at a fairground attraction.
How many are still alive?
Oh, none of them. I just went through, via a chippy on the way home. That was it. Supper sorted. Thank you very much. All for 10p.
How much gold did Adonis end up spending in the end?
That was probably in the region of something like 25 gold, I reckon. Yeah. It's a pricey morning. Yeah. It's okay, he can afford it.
Oh, can he?
Can he?
He's loaded.
I don't know, in comparison to everyone else, I don't know, but he's, maybe I messed up something in character creation, but I started with about 160 gold in the pocket.
Okay, I'm not showing you how much gold I got. Nope. You are the treasurer.
Cool, I'll take all your gold.
So have you guys got... I don't know whether I should be having this conversation or not, but do you guys have any...
Okay.
No, it's
Look out.
It's about my character. Have you guys got any ideas why you think my character is reluctant to join in?
Because he's a coward.
It's that obvious, is it? I thought I'd hidden that quite well.
So I think Adonis takes G's kind of approach to things much more in a way of, well, he knows what he's doing. Maybe this is how kind of adventurers are after they've seen a few things, and that's the way Adonis is kind of treating G. Like maybe he's seen some stuff or knows some stuff that he doesn't, because he's so naive about adventure in life.
It's okay. We've covered off our excitement. Well, apart from my glorious win with the hoops and the chicken bucket that someone stole from me.
Didn't steal the whole bucket.
Well,
just one
it
bit of
doesn't
chicken
matter.
whilst you were
Doesn't matter.
unconscious. That doesn't count.
It does count.
Doesn't.
That's wrong.
No, it doesn't count.
You do not steal another man's food. It's a sacrilege. But then we then obviously were asked to traipse off again back towards Moonhill, purely because of the lack of guests. Now, at that point, what's going through your mind? What did you think may have happened to these guests?
Well, I thought they'd arrived in the morning beforehand. When we got up and it went, oh, the road's clear, your heroes away. I thought, cool, they must have arrived. And then, when they don't, it's like, shit, better go look for them.
I absolutely thought we were going to be going towards a crater.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, it's our luck that we're going to crest that hill and it's going to be poof.
See, I didn't see that one coming.
No?
No. I was confused as to, once it, we established that the whole village had gone again. I was slightly confused to, okay, so where are the people? Because I thought that they had already left the village to get to us, and we were helping them by defeating the orcs in the first episode. But they've gone as well. The mystery deepens.
See, what I want to know is why Andy was in the middle of the crater. Surely he came over the same ridge and went, oh shit, a big crater, I better turn around and go back, not ride into the middle of it.
Well, I think that was alluded to a little bit when he said about the fact that his goat wouldn't fucking listen to him.
Yeah.
So he was probably like, oh, a crater, turn around, and it was like, just straight in.
And perhaps being the only goat owner on this table at present, I can definitely say that they are a pain in the arse.
They're notoriously stubborn, aren't they, goats?
Oh yeah, they will not do what you want them to do at all.
There is also the possibility that because he's so old, his eyesight was that bad that it took him till he got to the middle of the crater to realise there wasn't a town there anymore.
In a crater.
Wait a minute.
There is that, absolutely. Worms.
What a segue.
I thought so.
You can
Seamless.
get tablets for that.
Pure seamless.
Yeah, we got worms, big worms, rock worms. You'd need plenty of ointment for that, wouldn't you?
Definitely. They're hard on the way out.
So, did they disappear because you were scared of killing us? Episode 2?
No, they didn't disappear because I was scared of killing you in episode 2 and I had no hero to come and save you because he was already dead. No.
Oh, okay. I think you're telling fibs now.
They were... So, there's a great book called The Monsters Know What They're Doing, and I think, did we speak about this last time?
Yeah.
Right, okay. So that mentality of creatures will not just hang around to be killed is a good mentality to have. So when those worms reached a certain threshold of hit points, that's when they decided that, no, had enough, see you later. Because they've got other agendas, they've got other things going on, or other things that are in control of them, or things that they need or want to do. So they're not just going to stay there for you, to be honest, because you two didn't really hurt them that much, for Adonis to fry them. I'm not just going to hang around and let it happen.
Yeah.
Are we going to talk about there's been 2 fights where Adonis has been the one who's mostly
OP.
saved everybody? The wizard, yeah.
No.
No? No, okay. Well,
No. I think you'll find that G was distracting them, so that he would leave you alone.
laying on the floor?
By laying on the floor, making himself appear to be an easier target. That was his strategy all along.
I think it is something that happens a lot though. When you're playing like a melee character at lower levels, there isn't much you can do. You generally only have 1 hit. You can't do much damage. But when you're playing a magic caster, you tend to have a lot more in your basket and things that can do more than, say, 6 points of damage a go. So at lower levels, as a starting point, I think magic people are OP when it comes to this, and I'm very grateful that you're in the party.
I think it's the way you play them as well, though, isn't it? Because the melee class, you absolutely just go ploughing in, don't you, and stick yourself in that position to take that damage and get smacked about a bit.
Although your subclass choice does mitigate that a little bit, doesn't it? Because you have your superiority dice and your manoeuvres and things you can do, which helps. And then obviously Vesper Vesper.
That's me.
G being what G is and having access to magical ability helps as well. So there's a bit more kind of variety. Yeah. Otherwise, if you're just hit it until it starts moving kind of melee character, it's very kind of 2-dimensional, isn't it? And you lose that fun. Where spellcasters get it from day one.
Yeah. So when I kept saying like, "Where are you? Where are you?" It's because the things that I have. It's only really a benefit if you're close enough. But I was like, actually, realistically, in a fight, you're not going to be next to me.
No.
So it's like, this is my time to shine. He went in first, and then I couldn't get to you.
Yeah, I think if I'm within 5 feet of you in a fight, something's gone wrong.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah, I really wish I'd read more of my character sheet before starting, because there's a lot I'm not doing. I've never played a ranger before. And there's quite a bit I didn't do. So, for example, I didn't realise that I've got, with my short bow, if I hit someone with an attack, I then get advantage on the next attack.
Your weapon mastery for Vex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I should read more, shouldn't I?
Well, yeah, but also I should probably remind you of these things.
Well, you
I did with your Hunter's Mark, to be fair. I did remind you with that. That was me being nice.
Really?
It won't happen again.
No, didn't think so. Didn't think so.
That's also why you went down so quickly.
Did the worm with Hunter's Mark bury itself and escape?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though apparently I could track it, but I was too scared to.
But you still know where it is.
Well, only I wouldn't share that information. I just make sure where it is. It's not
Not
where I
next to
am. Okay, so worms are dispatched. Well, they weren't dispatched. The worms were ran away because they've got a personal agenda, which they're worms, but they've got an agenda.
They're elemental worms.
Okay.
They were rock worms, weren't they?
They were
worms made of rock.
Worms, yeah. And we returned triumphantly with Andy in tow, but no, well, I say no goat. The goat was there, but just
dismembered.
Different form. Form.
Yeah. And then we had to make a decision about where to go next. What were the options, Ash? Remind me?
So you had Mara Wavewalker in Oceanhold, Ragdoll Sunbeard and Naggledeer, Lord Astral in the Astral Academy, Gerard Road in Timberminster, and Barnaby Thrall in Lord's Gathering. They were your choices.
I know full well I would never have gone to see Mara because, as a player in previous other games, I've got an affinity with Mara, and I do not want to put her in any danger. So I'm keep making sure worms don't get anywhere near her.
So I had a similar thing as you go through that list. The Astral Academy is where Adonis is from, and that's where he wants to kind of end up. And it's like, if we go there, it could end up smashed up. No, let's go somewhere else. Don't want to do that.
Vesper was like, I don't know any of these people or any of these places, so I'm happy to just figure it out as we go along. I think it's tricky because we weren't able to gather much insight into what was the potential cause. So it was tricky to know, like, oh, you need someone who does religion, or you need someone who's really into nature. So with that, it was a bit like, ooh, flip a coin and then let's head out because we don't know enough yet. And you get there and after 60 days and they go, sorry, she's not in.
It's the travel time's an interesting thing actually, because a lot of people don't realise how big our world is. So from where you are in Mistfall to Timberminster, which is where you obviously decided to go, as the crow flies is 3,000 kilometres.
Damn.
What's that in real measurement?
I don't know.
Are you talking kilometres to miles?
Yes.
Hang on, let me get my phone out. I'll Google it.
One of the other things I'm mystified by, I mean, you've got this wee little village, so you've got Mistfall in the middle of nowhere, and so therefore it's probably dependent on trade with other locations.
1,864 miles.
That's better.
Doesn't sound so far now, does it?
Absolutely not. So you've got this little village in the middle of nowhere, depending on trade, and you have not got a single horse in the entire village.
Don't look at me.
Seb, invest in horses, mate. It's got to be done.
I'll have a word.
Have words with him.
I'll have a word with Seb.
All we've got are goats. So we're going to have goats pulling a wagon. The G-wagon, mind you.
Is there another town, like, further on? So it continues in a line, another town that would be after them, or is
East or west?
the direction that the Munchins go in?
No.
Okay.
So I'll show Andy because he's sat right next to me. I've got a world map here. Mistfall leads in between two mountain ranges, which is the Terraspina Mountains and the Dragon's Ridge mountain range. And then as you sort of travel east, it goes Mistfall, Moonhelm, Stormwood, Gleamshore, and then like the Cove and the ocean. Westwards, you come across the next settlement to the west is Southview, but that's not till you get to the coast as well. So there's no other settlement in between there and the coast either.
Okay.
So you're kind of in this little canyon in between these two mountains, and there's just those 4 settlements. So Mistfall right through to Gleamshore.
They are spaced out, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
That's a big world.
It's much bigger than people realise, and when people play games and they look at that map, because it's one landmass, it looks like it's much smaller than it is. But the scale on the map is part of the map.
It's because the world's flat.
Yeah.
Which people need to remember.
It absolutely is. Yeah.
Little tidbit of information for those. I'm not joking, Andy.
You're talking about the All Havens rather than our world.
Yes, I'm talking about the All Havens. Yes, because the Earth is flat, and everyone knows this. No, the All Havens is a flat plane of existence. So when you're looking at the map, just keep that in mind.
So what's at the edge of the oceans?
A very big drop.
It really is as well.
So doesn't the water just drain away?
Well, if you pick up our volume 3 called Dark Ascension, it actually explains how that works. And there is a kind of cross-sectional diagram which shows the land mass and how that links to the Underhavens or Underdark, and how that links to Hell, and how the water pouring over the edge of the earth affects Hell, which is strapped underneath the world. It's all thought about, it's all considered.
Buy Buy the book, people, and you will be in the know.
Go to amazon.co.uk or your local Amazon supplier and just Google Ultimate Guide to the All Havens Volume 3. That's the big one, which has had all the origin story for the world and how it was made as well, which may or may not give some hints as to what's going on in this campaign.
We've just got to get the book ourselves and read it then, don't we?
Absolutely.
I mean, we all have it already because we're legit members of the guild and would, of course, purchase everything related. Definitely.
We're all sat here in logoed tops.
Yeah, with our hats on and our scarves. CGG slippers.
Are you suggesting my cabin's cold?
Sitting here with a blanket on and a hoodie. No, it's a lot warmer than the last location we were using.
I've got a heater on.
It's lovely.
So we're all off to Timberminster.
We're all off to Timberminster, Timberminster, Timberminster. That's all you get.
Okay, thank you. 60 days each way?
Yep.
If we're
So you-
lucky.
Well,
If
hang
we're
on, hang on. No, you've got goats, 58.
Ah, yes.
Hold on, a wagon is not going to make that length of a journey. Like, I have never ever been in any campaign where the horses and a wagon have made it past day 2.
Because we're also going over mountains, aren't
that's
we?
it. We're gonna hit like a speed bump in the road. It's only gonna be about a foot tall. Those wheels are coming off that wagon. The goats are scattering. We're gonna spend the whole session chasing goats through the woods.
Yeah.
Not just any woods. It's the Forest of Fortitude. The biggest woods in the world. Strongest trees in the world. Most dangerous forest in the world.
Let's chase some goats. Well, that sounds like fun.
No, you
Let's
never
do it.
told us that when we were deciding which way to go.
You had complete free choice, and all of those locations I put in for different reasons. It was absolute free choice on your part as to which one you chose. And all three of you have played games with the charity for long enough to know a little bit about those different regions.
We should have just picked a random one. Biblimord. We're going there instead. The names you'll know.
That wasn't an option.
Maybe we can change the sat nav on the way.
I've heard that there is an oasis in the desert.
The Arkstar Oasis.
Yeah,
no
we could
less.
always pop there. Because I've heard
Well,
that's
have
a
they
really easy place to describe.
Yeah.
Has that Oasis just reformed this year for a one-off tour?
hmm
Okay.
Yeah, getting back together.
Well, ironically, where the Arkstar Oasis, I'm just going to ignore your Oasis joke completely.
Thank you.
No problem. The Arkstar Oasis, where it's on the map, is not that far from Lord's Gathering. But obviously the Arkstar Oasis does
Ebb and flow.
Ebb and flow, yes.
Mhm.
For those of you who don't know, the Arkstar Oasis was a settlement that was made when we did a create a settlement auction. So people bid to name the place and then put defining like characteristics in the place. We built this location. It ended up so unbelievably complicated that every time I tried to put it into a campaign, it's made my head hurt, and I've gone, we'll do it another time. But it was good fun though. You were there, weren't you,
Yep.
buddy? Yeah.
Yes, I named it.
You named it.
I did. I put in the bid to name it.
Arkstar Oasis.
And my absolute inspiration was the Mummy.
The Mummy.
Yeah, because you know how in the Mummy they're travelling across the desert and they're like, it's not there, it'll be there. And then all of a sudden this temple appears out of nowhere. And they have like the diamond on top. Not ripping off the Mummy at all, it's just an
No.
inspiration.
So what do we think we can expect then if we're travelling through the Forest of Fortitude?
Death saving throws.
Lots of them, I reckon.
Well, you've had them every session so far.
Yep.
Yes, I think based on our performance in combat for the first two episodes, we should be levelling up to level 10.
Yeah.
now.
Mm-hmm. Think that's
I'm
reasonable.
looking at you, Ash.
No,
Mm.
not yet. You've got levels 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9 before you get to level 10.
Mhm. Do you think
it's-
we'll reach one of those by the time we get there?
Before anyone dies?
Yeah.
Unlikely.
Yeah.
Possible, but unlikely.
There.
So come on guys, what are we looking forward to in the next episode? What do we think is going to happen apart from, death throes?
So our next thing is going to be travelling into the mountains, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're- Well, it depends on how you're doing a travel montage, I suppose, Ash, but
You'll have to
We'll
listen
find
next
out.
time and find out.
yeah, we'll find out. But yeah, travelling through the mountains is going to be good fun. Lots of dangerous, nasty stuff in the mountains.
Yeah, it'd be fun to see what enemies we come up against, I think, going through. Or even not, like NPCs, maybe, or towns and stuff.
No tavern for G to hide in and not join in.
That's a shame, isn't it? I'd also like to pick up the comment you made there, Bertie. Fun to see. So your idea of facing off against deadly creatures that are looking to rip your throat out is fun.
Yeah.
Okay, right. You can go first then.
Yeah. One day you're playing... I was going to say spin the bottle and then realised that was not one of the games we played.
Jeez. Wow.
Well, one day you're playing ring toss and then the next day you're fighting for your life against an elemental worm. You know, variety in life is very good.
What's G looking forward to about being in the mountains or travelling?
Looking forward to is probably not the term I would use, but just surviving, I think, is the best he can hope for, if I'm honest. You know, he's trying his best to sort of get by day without letting on too much.
Fair enough.
Was he legitimately considering leaving when we had that little tete-a-tete in the crater?
No. I mean, I think you've already picked up on the fact that he's a coward. He is very much about, you know, self-preservation, and he would have come to the realisation that actually he's got a better chance of surviving if he's got two other, you know, meat shields in front of him than he would do on his own. Okay. So, you know, a lot of what he says is bravado. It's about trying to come across as being this big I am, you know, I am a hero, I don't need you guys. I'm here as a favour to you. Whereas in reality it's, please don't leave me alone. I'm scared.
I have a question.
Yes.
Did anyone spot any Easter eggs?
I was in Tesco's earlier, there's shitloads of them all over the shelves.
So expensive.
Oh no.
And we're recording this in February.
That's true.
Yeah, but they've been out since January. That's the bit that's the issue. You spotted something, and there was something for you about the wine and the brother.
Oh, the Butterswoon brewery. Winery is the right word.
Yeah.
So that harks back to our Divine Essence campaign, which is our Tuesday night campaign, where Stu's character was an assassin, and he ended up killing one of the brothers.
Spoilers.
Well, it's not going to come out at any other point, is it?
No.
Not a spoiler for anything. So.
Just say it just in case.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
But yeah, that ended up like a whole plot arc in that campaign, didn't it?
Yeah.
Him to target one of the brothers.
Cool.
Little throwback, which is cool.
There was definitely one Easter egg. There were more.
Ooh.
I will never get them. I'm just going to throw that out there. I know, for like when you said, "Oh, you've all played in this," to know that no, Ash. It doesn't matter how. I can't remember the games that I've played to know what I did, let alone to have potentially heard what other people did. So unless it's your character did this once, I'm not going to know. I love when other people spot them. I'm like, ooh, you saw something there.
So there was the stuff about like Lord's Gathering and no one being there from your history check, and sort of the falling out of the ruling council. That's kind of the wider narrative as well, isn't it, at the moment as well?
I did recognise that one. Yes.
That was the big one.
Okay.
So I'm glad you got that one.
Yes.
Yeah, the falling out of all the different regions and Armand and his issues.
I think sometimes it's tricky because we've played games that have been in different timelines. So sometimes it's going, where are we right now in the time? Because we've had some massive jumps.
Yeah.
And it's going, are we ahead of where this happened? Are we behind? Are we in line with?
Yeah.
So sometimes that's a bit, you don't want to go, oh, that's related to this, and think, oh, spoilers.
I feel like the big November game kind of moves the timeline on in terms of the narrative. We have that November game, and then it's like, and now all the games are sort of 6 months after that period for sort of the next, and then hit November again, and we jump on another 6 months a year.
That's certainly how I see it. Those November games are kind of the narrative linchpins. So this happens, and that now changes the world in this way. And then you spend the next 12 months within the charity, adventuring within that new kind of narrative. And then this November we'll do it all over again.
Ooh,
Yay!
exciting.
Is that by any chance the World Anvil we're talking about?
It is the World Anvil.
Tickets are still available, guys. Tickets are still available.
And where can we purchase said tickets?
Eventbrite. If you go onto Facebook, you'll find the links for this there. Also, if you join onto our Discord channel, you'll find events detailed there, and you can get tickets through Eventbrite.
There's also a link on our website as well. You can
Yes.
go to the events on our website, and you can
Yes.
go straight to Eventbrite from the website. Within Discord, the events have got an event section as well as the whole chat bit, so there's loads of places. There is
So-
no excuse to not come.
So if you have a burning desire to play a game of D&D in this miraculous world and to actually hear me say the word bollocks in real life, then buy a ticket.
It's life-changing to experience that in real life, I can tell you.
This November as well is different to the other Novembers because we have VIP tickets. You can come and join us
Yes.
for a VIP evening before the big day. Have some pizza with us.
Pizza.
That's only if I can be bothered to open the hall up for you.
Well, I'm sure you will.
Okay.
And it's sponsored as well. So you can earn in-game rewards, can't you, from fundraising. All in the name of our beneficiary charity for the year.
Yes.
Hmm.
Can we maybe get some in-game rewards in the podcast?
In-game podcast rewards.
Yeah.
Like what?
I don't know, like...
A cleric.
Yeah.
Just a whole nother character.
Yeah.
Well, at some point we'll have guests come onto the podcast.
Yes. That's exciting.
And that's all managed through our Patreon. So our Patreon members will be eligible to come and join us as guests for a month.
Mhm.
So who knows what one of them might bring?
Mhm.
Are we allowed to kill their characters?
Yes.
Can't wait.
The likelihood is though that they're going to kill ours from our track record.
So what other Easter eggs did we miss?
Oh, I can't tell you that. You'll have to go back and listen to the episode.
Meanie.
If any of our listeners spotted any Easter eggs, please let us know. Send us some comments. Get in the Discord chat.
Well, guys, I think that pretty much brings us to the end of this little episode of What the Hell Happened Last Time.
We're going to rename our episodes.
I think we should.
What the hell happened last time?
Yeah. What the shit happened? Just happened. So yeah, lots is going on. We are off on a much bigger adventure through what sounds like quite a treacherous journey, and no doubt you'll have a lot of surprises for us next time, Ash.
Nope, none at all.
Well, that was a bit of a letdown, I must say.
I'll think of
So-
something. Between now and then I'll come up with something.
So
Okay.
that's a goodbye from me, Andy, otherwise known as Gary Spot. And goodbye from...
Me, John. Yes, is a question.
Yes. And a goodbye from...
Me, Bertie.
And a final goodbye from...
Me, Ash.
Goodbye one and all. See you next time.
And that's this week's episode concluded. It's time to thank our Patreon members. Our Ruby membership, Joshua, Alberta, Paul, Dave R, Claire, Laura, Jason.
Emerald membership, Stuart. Sapphire membership, Becca M, Gary, Neil.
Diamond Geezers, Zeke, Lizzie, Chris, Martin, John, Bertie and Ash.
And of course our Obsidian members, Ant, James, Becca GS, Ethan, Niall, Dave F, and finally our two ruling council members, Chris and Sophia. Thank you so much all of you for your support and for helping us do what we do.